All right, so we are live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. Appreciate you guys joining. It again, if you're watching on TikTok, go to our YouTube to watch my screen. It is ATA_trader. I believe I have my YouTube in my bio on TikTok. So I just recently moved, so I have my screen facing to me. That way, at least you guys get something. So. And the other quick way you could do it is if you're watching, you can go to botjok, botjok.com. If you sign up for free, you get access to the community events, which is where this is recorded as well, so you can always catch it later if you want to watch it. So, but I'm going to talk a little bit about our trading yesterday. It was an awesome day trading. So we ended up, where was it? Market opened about right here. So let's talk about the TA yesterday. It actually played out perfectly because if you remember, we had the fall and then we ended up retouching around 446 level. We had a higher low, which caused that overnight spike where we jumped up about $2 or so on the SPY. And one of the things that I talked about is it almost kind of looked like we had a little bit of a bull flag going because we had that pull and then we had the parallels down. And you can see we did break above that bull flag and kind of rode that call up all the way up to our trend line here. This one right here, I did preset this trend line after this rejection. I was looking for this rejection to actually place that trend line, right? And so once I saw this begin to reject, we actually took this put in the room. And the reason why is as you roll back, right, we knew that this was a heavy support area here. So as it started to lose its steam, this candle right here was kind of that tell that there was some momentum coming in with the bears. So we did ride that put. We closed it around the 200 here. I think it was this bounce right here that got us out, which was just an awesome trade. And then we actually rode the call up on here, and then once it kind of pumped up here, we had re-entered the put. I actually re-entered the put, I believe it was right on this one here. As I seen it come down this way, right, we had our kind of our strong bearish start to push. Basically we had a lower high slightly right here, and we had the higher high, so I was kind of playing that as well as the prior level, just anticipating another oscillation scalp down. That played out perfectly. I was kind of annoyed with it. Those of you guys in the room, you guys know this. I saw it come down. I was like, I'm not going to close it. I'm going to hold off. It came up. I was waiting for the double top. The double top played out perfectly. I saw the fall. I was trailing my stop down this way, and I actually avoided this first wick here. And then it came back down, and then I was like, okay, I think we're gonna fall, right? So I moved my stop down, and then it wicked one last time, and it got my stop on this candle here. Ended up a very profitable trade, but the very next candle, our indicator called the actual short, right? So I was clear for probably another good little push. It happens, right? But I'll take the win on it. So we played it really well. Once we hit in here, we stopped trading about 11 or so. My guidance to the room was that expect this 200 to hold, as well as this trend line that we created here, and to play that the calls, right? And so that played out really well. We did get a call flip here, and that ended up playing out actually really well. And it almost rejected kind of perfectly off of this line that we had created. This line was created just kind of from a small area, the peak here up into there. And then we also had one of the things I was teaching in the room was to create kind of like an apex. We got some, let me delete some of these old lines here. So to create some sort of like what I like to call like an apex, right? So you have the top here that comes down like this, like this, like this, right? And you can see we have a heavy rejection right there. So this top line, which just so we don't get confused on the two lines, we'll make that red, is going to be heavy resistance, right? So let's go through and see how that played out. So there's that red line. You can see we came up, could hit it, couldn't break it, hit it, couldn't break it. Tried to find some support. We got the short call. Bada boom, down we go, right? And so you have two things kind of playing here. This is what we teach in the room as well. Is you have this kind of rising wedge channel here into really strong resistance that has a known heavy rejection point. It was able to break the wedge and down we go. So let's talk about where we are now, where we go from here. As you can see throughout this fall, we are creating higher lows, which is showing that the strength is sort of coming back into that market on the 2 minute anyways. We did get a long call here, so I'm anticipating probably a market open, pending any crazy news, right, of us pushing north a little bit again before we make that decision to fall. Because if you think about it right here, we actually created a low of 446.27, and then right here we actually had wicked down almost to the same point as we did on that higher low around 446.64. And we found some support back up. So when you really think about it, if you zoom out and you go to maybe even a higher time frame, at the end of the day, we are finding that support of that 446, and so there's a good likelihood we may push up to about 448, 449 or so. We might even come back up and retest this red line around 450, and that would apologize, man, my throat. And so so that will get us up to about 450, right? If we do that, this is going to be a pivotal line, this red line that I have drawn from the upper band here, because if we continue to reject off of that, it's going to squeeze probably in the next by tomorrow or the next day, and then that's going to give us a big break either south or north depending where that squeeze takes us. But as long as we continue to create higher lows from this 446, right, as we get our pump ups and our pullbacks and our pump up and our pullback, it leads me to believe that we're building up for another potential bullish attempt. But my call, I think it was Friday, is that I believe we'll get down to 443.90, maybe 442.68, somewhere in this range. But it may take some time, like how this is, before we get there, and then before we have that pop. Also, the other thing that I watch is on the daily. Again, we had talked about this last time. We are still red on this Divergence Hunter. And we are getting a little bit of a bounce, right? So this, who knows, this may end up coming into kind of a smaller double top, right? I mean, we could see a push as high as 454, have a longer term kind of head right here, like a double top of the head for the potential head and, shoulder, head, shoulder, which would take time to play out, right? Because remember, we're on the daily. But that would give us into a position where we have our red trend line here. If we pump up, hit that red trend line again, fall back down, that's going to have us finally get that retest of that 200 EMA. It could take a month, could take 2 months to get to there, but we haven't retested it, if you think about it, since pretty much down in this range around 400. I mean, maybe if you call 403. So the 21 SMA on the daily, you can see we are below that. So we did close below it. We fell, found support, rejected, found some support, rejected. And so we'll mark that, around 451.85 is that mark, right? So until we flip that mark, just be really careful. Be really careful on that, push back up, right, until we flip that mark there. I mean, you can still take scalps. We did it yesterday. You can make a lot of money on some scalps there, but that is kind of the range that I'm playing. So, y'all know I like to take a look at the 1 hour as well. Let's zoom out on that. So the 1 hour still does have us in this short. We are red on the Divergence Hunter, so we do have some room to play as far as going down. But if you look here, right? You have your support, you have your lower support, and then you have another kind of a bounce candle here on that 1 hour. So the next candle, the next hour or two is going to be really pivotal to where this goes, because you have this particular candle here. And so if you actually get a bullish candle, right, that comes next here, you're going to have your kind of stretch of red, you got your kind of possible reversal candle, and then you need your confirmation candle, and then that would push us back up. However, if the next one closes and then we come down and engulf this, which is 446.60, the wick, then we're good to take those puts to ride that down, because there's just too much weakness in the market. So play your range accordingly. Like I said, not too much going on today that should rock us too much, other than the fact that we've had a pretty good fall. I mean, we've dropped over $10 on the SPY, and it's just finding some support. So we'll see. Now's like the moment of truth to see if it can actually flip this. Not only on the 1 hour, the 21 SMA, but the 200 EMA, which is again back at 451.58. So it couldn't even make it to it yesterday. So it bounced off that trend line. So let's see. Let's take a look at Apple briefly. So we had the fall. We already know about that. Still holding support. Not surprising. I talked about that yesterday. This is a strong support area. You can see back here. Not only was once support, but fairly close to resistance, right, level here, and so you can see it is actually holding pretty strong. For me, like I said, I would not take a call on Apple until you at least flip this 21 SMA, because otherwise you could just potentially see this thing just ride down. We did get a little bit of a bullish divergence here, and we did flip green recently. So, a call on Apple might not be a bad play for today. I would just be very patient for this to get a candle close above this 21 SMA, and then take that call north on there. All right, let's take a look at Google. So if y'all remember yesterday, I was actually bullish on Google, and that played out pretty well. So you can see Monday, market opened right here, 128. We pumped up to 131. So the bullish call actually played out really well on that. We did create a higher low that we're starting to reject off of, or I'm sorry, a lower high. Messed that one up completely, right? So we did get a lower high over here. Also, if you look at it, this seems to be a viable, it's small, right? But it seems to be a viable rejection point. So I would mark a line like this. I don't use red on local ones. I typically use white. That's just mine, but you can do as you, whatever works for you. So I would take a line like that on Apple. We'll watch that. If we can stay above the 21 SMA and flip this line, then you'd be clear to take that call from 132 to 136 or so. However, if we stay below this 21 SMA and below this trend line, I would take those put scalps as we continue to retest the 200. So we are a little bit high in the range coming down. We do on the RSI, we have red as well on the divergence hunter. So, but we're pretty balanced on the gap fill sniper. So for a Google, I know I did Microsoft yesterday. Microsoft, I said I was not quite as bullish on it. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was the best play. If not, I would have been almost more bearish. And so, you can see actually it played out pretty well. The overnight is what had dropped. This looks to me like just a little mini bear flag that broke out. So I'm not sure it'll hold, but it played out as I anticipated. So we are still below that 200. We're actually below the 21 again. I would just look for this area to hold here around 326.74. If it can continue to hold through the squeeze of this 200, look for the flip, because if it flips the 200, then we're likely to see a really big push north. However, if the squeeze of this 21 is enough to break it below that support level of 325, then next level I would probably call would be around 321, somewhere in here. because you have your prior support and prior resistance as well. So that would be my next next call or play. And you can take, you know, just kind of looking at here, you can take something like this and just kind of line it up, you know, the best you can with that. You can see, you know, lines these wicks up pretty well. So if we stay above this, right, you want to be careful taking your puts because we are near a really good support level. So my first look on this that I see is that we're almost kind of rounding, like we're gonna head down. I just don't know. I think it's a little early for that descent. I think that we might have one more little kind of push up like this. It just might take a minute to show that it can hold support before we push back up. So yeah, be really careful. I feel like Microsoft's setting up a kind of a landmine play where it just moves really quickly. Jordan and Company, if you go to botjok.com, you can sign up for free. It just takes an email and you can actually watch it live on community events, and we record it as well. So everything we do also is on YouTube. So it's ATA_trader. Yeah, SPY is the very first thing that I do. So if you're late, then you got to watch the recording. I'm only going to do Amazon here real quick because I didn't last time, because it's very interesting. Our zone tracker is actually red up here. And it's playing out pretty well. We did create a kind of a lower high here, and we did have that strong bearish, which is playing out somewhat there. We do have a drop to 134 on Amazon that could happen if we break that neckline around 139. So that's the play. Is, you know, if we get a close below that neckline and a retest, I would ride that retest down. We are red on the Divergence Hunter, and we do have pretty far to go before we get to that support level. So it could be setting up a pretty good put play. Yeah, I mean, you can see right here, this was prior levels, just crazy resistance. So I would not be taking a call on Amazon, not unless I see this break above 147, above this red line, and hold as support. And then I would take that. I'd be clear to take that call. What else do we want to do? I think we talked about Tesla and Meta. I'm trying to watch the time because I don't want to go too far over. So Tesla, this was our upper we drew a while back. This was our kind of lower channel that we're following, which seems to be continuing to follow. So let's just kind of put that channel like that. And that would be kind of the range that I would play. So we could see another, you know, continued push down to, by Tesla to about 240 or so, and then once we get, you know, if you see this hold and we get our bullish confirmation, right, you could ride that call back up to around 259. I think that Tesla is gonna do similar to Microsoft, where you know, we're gonna see this bleed down like this, and then it's gonna find its support, push up like this, and then you're gonna have that pop, you know, back like you're equal to this side, right? And then from there, you know, if it pops enough, it could come up for the to test this level here, or possibly even higher, right? But you know, depending if it can get past the prior size level here of 279 will depend if it can actually continue to sustain that, or if it's just going to reject back down. So, but I do think it's setting up for a possible push north. So I would be very careful on your puts, because, you know, technically, while our 21's below our 200, we don't really want to take the calls, but at the same time, just be careful, because you are near a heavy support, right, where it just bled all the way down and then shot back up. And you kind of have a falling channel, which typically at some point, these falling channels, it will break north. Now, how do you tell? Because remember, when we teach people, the confusion is people get lost on, they think every pattern is 100%. So typically when you have a pattern like oscillation like this, you can identify where it's going to break based on where it stays. So if you see a push that's only halfway again, right, and it comes down like this and it retests it, and then it creates a lower high, and then you kind of see that oscillations, you know, shrinking down here, and there's a big gap up here. Likely you're going to get something like that, a retest, and then a break like that. Now, if it's going to break north, it typically will do the opposite, right? You'll see a push, you'll see some strength, right? Because it's a sign that the bears don't even have enough to push it down. So eventually, the bulls, some of the flip floppers, flip from being bearish to bullish, and they hop over, and the hedge funds take over, and we just push north. So, but that's kind of the range I play with Tesla. The only other one I was going to look at briefly was Meta, because I did mark the channel. So actually it looks like the channel did very well. So you can see the white line here. We did get some nin stars, so that nice little call played out perfectly. Where we go from here, like I said, if we flip this trend line around really right we're at 315. I'd say anything 316. If you see a push north, don't take the initial push north. Wait for that retest of support above this line and then take that trade, right? So we are in a short on the 1 hour, and we have not called the long, but we do have some nin stars popping up. So if we do get that long call, right, it's gonna be a good one. So 10 minutes left. Let's jump straight to the Dixie. So Dixie had our push north, which is likely what pulled that market down. Also, and we are testing this line. Again, my assumption yesterday was that we would find our support, come up, retest this. We're gonna hold here. If we can break above this and hold this as support, then it's coming up here, 103.69, and we have some more downside. So, which is probably possible, if not likely. So. At the same time, we do have a little bit of a lower high, right? So this could be creating something as well, to come back down to retest, and then it could just kind of ping pong between the 200 and this trend line before it does this breakout. We are a little bit overbought, but still plenty of room to go. So, but we just barely cracked over that 70. But crypto, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's making its push a little bit, not super surprising. Let's take a look at crypto. So if you look at the daily, right, so we have our push, we have our fall, we have our break north, we have our kind of falling channel again, right, and it's trying to break north. Now the interesting thing about this, I want y'all to watch this, is we flipped below the 21 SMA on the daily, and we've been below ever since. It could not break it. This is the first daily candle that is breaking above it. If we get a close above here, we're going to see some more upside, right? Possible push even into 31. Yeah, so I would really watch that close. We did flip green from our red. We got that bearish divergence, which played out perfectly. And the red call, and then we flip back green here. So let's look more short term. Yeah, the 1 hour's the 1 hour's looking bullish, but we are getting overbought a little bit. So we do have a rejection point around 30,000. So we may see a push here. We still have room to go on the R side a little bit. So we could see a little bit of a further push before our breakdown. The Bollinger is switching green a little bit. It did do that here as well before flipping back to that red, and holding that as kind of that idle. And we did flip green again. So it is calling support now here at this level of 28.8, which is not surprising. That's what we had said would hold for some time. And more importantly, you can see, again, we have the 2 hour, the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. And you can see that we are about to actually golden cross that, which we did do that as well here. But the difference was we had a parabolic push and then an instant rejection, right? So that was not very sustainable. So I would kind of watch for that. You can see this was just a massive candle. Those ones usually aren't sustainable. These are coming in, a little bit more kind of full, right? So you got your kind of soldiers pushing up, and then they're just more sustainable. So what I would look for is possibly a push north up to maybe 29.7 or so, and then a pullback to retest this 21 for support. You can kind of see how it did it here, pulled back, retested the 21 support. The reason why it lost all this was because it couldn't hold it, had a close below, and then bam, 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 down we go. So I would anticipate that it's likely going to push up and then try to retest this support. It may actually just take some time, range in this spot here, and then come down for support and push up. If we can hold support on that, then we could definitely push a lot higher. Yeah, we're live on YouTube, and also in the community. Those that are asking on TikTok. So it's ATA_trader, or you can just sign up at botjock.com for free and just use your email. So I have a stand ordered, but I just recently moved, so I figured at least y'all can hear me. Otherwise, I just wouldn't be live at all. So, but that's kind of where I got for Bitcoin. I got about 5 minutes left, so let's talk about the ATA. So this was kind of the day yesterday. We actually ended up taking a call. We ended up flipping and taking a put. It was kind of annoying because the put actually literally hit right off the take profit line and then just shot straight up. And so the call ended up a really good profit for the call, and then it took another call. The put ended up jumping up, hit its stop loss and rejected. So we did take that loss on this put. We took the one win on the call. We took another win on this call, and then we took another TP2 win on this call. Now, you might be wondering what these trades are here. This is about 215. After we took a TP2 on this one, between the first TP2, second TP2, and this one, it put us, slightly in the net green. So I went ahead and just paused it because as we get closer to the end of the day, I'd rather reassess it. At the end of the day, when you make those calls, sometimes it works out in your favor. Sometimes it's a good call. Sometimes it, ends up stopping good trades, right? It's possible. So the ATA would have taken a call that would have gotten out in profit here, and it would have taken a put also, which is interesting because it never hit stop loss right at the end of market, and you can see the pre-market, it would have just been a massive trade. So is what it is, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We just got to play it the best we can and the safest we can through the copy trade stuff. So as far as where we go from here, again, you can see how we have this push north. We did have that rejection off the trend line. I'm anticipating that we're going to find some support throughout here, and so I'm going to do similar to what I did yesterday, but what I'm going to do, so we're going to jump into, let's see, Tuesday, Friday, yeah, so it'd be Tuesday be 0, Wednesday be 1, Thursday 2, Friday 3, so we can still do a 3-day, yeah. I think I'm going to do the call a little more aggressive. I'm not sure if I want to do trend finder, but let's see. Yeah, that would have still taken that there. So trend finder, as y'all see, is literally our most aggressive one. So I'm gonna set it up as trend finder. And then what we're gonna do is set this up at 9:45, so we'll go a little bit sooner. And I'm still gonna stop at about 2 o'clock. I just 2 to 3 o'clock is just there's a lot of potential risk in there. So definitely some trades that it can hit, but maybe we'll do 2:30. Yeah, we'll do 2:30, and then I'll just assess it if we need to. So we'll do 2:30. I'm gonna let things go if we need to. And I'm again being more aggressive on the call because we are lower in that range. So, and we're gonna close the candle 9:30. All right. And for those on TikTok wondering what I'm doing, I'm setting up our automated trading. We actually do automated trading for options. So we'll create the alert for the call. There it is. And let's take a look at the put. God, Gosh, I'm even hesitant to run a put down here, but after that big fall like that, right? So I'm gonna hold off on setting the puts for now, guys. If you guys come in and trade with me at 9:30, I'm gonna trade from 9:30 to 11, just like I did yesterday. I'm gonna kind of watch the opening and see what direction we get the pressure at before I make a determination if I want to run a put or not. So for now, we're just gonna stick with calls. So because like I said, we've already had a pretty, I mean, it's about a $3 fall, and we're getting into some really good support here. Yep, so we should be good. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at it, but yeah, we'll make that call like I said at 9:30. So if you guys want to come in and trade with me, you guys can. So, but for now, I'm just gonna leave that one there on the ATA. So I got 9 o'clock. I'll put out the room give me about 15 minutes or so. I don't see any more questions over there. Appreciate you helping answer the questions as always, John. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this live stream. We'll see you guys in the room soon. And then TikTok Hangout